We usually think of these epic heroes' journeys as, huge, complicated stories with heroes and monsters. But what if I told you that same exact powerful formula is hiding in a simple kids' cartoon about a kite fight? Well, today, we're going to pull one apart and see how these big, universal stories work in places you'd never expect.
Right off the bat, every great story needs a great villain. And here he is. This is Galassa, the rival kite flyer. And his first words are basically, "My name is Galassa, and I've taken down the best of the best." That's not just bragging, That's him throwing down the gauntlet and setting up the entire conflict for our story.
So, what's really going on here? At its core, it's a story we can all get. You've got our heroes, two friends, Booth and Bodranov, who just want to have a good time at a festival. But, of course, their plan gets totally wrecked by a rival. It's that classic setup, a timeless story of trying to beat the odds.
Okay, so let's set the scene. It's all happening during Makar Sankranti, this really vibrant festival in India that's famous for flying kites. For our two heroes, this is supposed to be a day of pure fun, but their nemesis, Galassia, has totally different plans.
In any hero's journey, you always have the call to adventure. Now, in this case, it's not some grand quest for a magic sword or anything. It's way more down to earth. Just the simple wish to fly a kite, be part of a tradition, and maybe, just maybe, take down that arrogant guy who thinks he owns the sky.
Of course, no hero's journey is easy. There's always what's called the road of trials, that part of the story where things just start going wrong, one after another, pushing the heroes right to their breaking point. And for Bud and Bodrinath, oh man, the trials start coming hard and fast.
So, their first shot? Total failure. Galassa, being the pro that he is, just expertly cuts their kite string. Boom. It's that first punch, the one that shows you just how skilled and kind of ruthless your opponent really is.
But they don't give up. They get their second kite in the air, they're hopeful, but you guessed it, the exact same thing happens. Galassa cuts it down again. You can just feel their frustration building, right? Their kites and their confidence are quickly disappearing.
And then, complete disaster. They are officially out of kites. It looks like their big adventure is over before it even really got started. This is that rock bottom moment, the point in the story where it feels like all hope is completely lost.
And just when you think it can't possibly get any worse, it does. The school principal, a guy named Rathi Sir, catches them and just bans all kite flying at school. So now, it's not just their rival they're up against, it's the entire system. The rules, the authority, it all seems impossible.
But it's often at this lowest, most desperate point that a hero's real strength comes out. They're faced with total defeat, but our heroes don't quit. Instead, a little bit of creativity and a very surprising encounter is about to change the entire game.
And this is where you see just how resilient they are. They're out of kites? Fine. They decide to literally make one themselves out of a newspaper. It's the scrappy, brilliant plan that shows they are not backing down, even if it means marching right up to the principal himself.
And here he is, that final obstacle in the flesh. Rathi Sir lays down the law, flat out. No one will fly kites in school. He's the ultimate gatekeeper, the final barrier standing between them and their goal. Seriously, how do you get past that?
And then, the twist. In a perfect hero's journey moment, the biggest obstacle becomes the greatest mentor. Rathi Sir spots Galassa's kite, and everything changes. He says, "Kids, I also have an old score to settle with this Galassa." I mean, what a transformation. The guy who was stopping them is now on their side.
So with this new, totally unexpected team, you've got the boys' passion mixed with the principal's secret skills. The stage is finally set. It's time for the final showdown against the guy who seemed absolutely unbeatable.
I mean, just look at the matchup here. The stakes are crystal clear. On one side, you've got Galassa with his fancy, professional kite, just fueled by pure arrogance. And on the other side are underdogs, with a kite made of newspaper, powered by teamwork, cleverness, and a need for a little redemption. It's a classic David versus Goliath fight.
And so the battle is on. Rathi Sir is the coach, calling the shots, telling them when to pull the string, when to let it go. The boys bring all the energy and heart, and it's this amazing mix of wisdom and youth that lets their humble little newspaper kite just dance through the air, and finally, with one perfect move, cut Galassa's line.
So the villain is taken down, but the story doesn't just stop there. See, the ending is about more than just winning a fight.
It's about what that victory really means for everyone, for the whole spirit of the festival.
With Galassa's kite out of the picture, the real celebration of Makar Sankranti can finally start. Their win wasn't just for them. It restored balance. It meant everyone could finally enjoy the festival the way it was supposed to be, without some bully casting a shadow over everything.
And the whole thing wraps up with this beautiful cultural tradition. They share tilgul, which is a sweet made from sesame and jaggery, and they say this phrase, "Sheko do sweet and speak sweet words." It's this amazing symbol of letting go of any bitterness and choosing friendship instead. It's just the perfect way to end a story about overcoming a rivalry.
So, what's the big takeaway from all this? Well, this simple cartoon is a great reminder that sometimes help shows up from the places you least expect it, and that what looks like your biggest obstacle might actually be a mentor waiting to help you. It kind of leaves you with a question to think about, right? Who is the unexpected ally waiting to be discovered in your own story?